Hello everyone, Silent here and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Minecraft Live 2021 just went down and Mojang announced all kinds of amazing and exciting features for the new 1.19 update. 1.19 is going to be the Wild update, focusing on changing a lot of things about the biomes and the overworld, making things more atmospheric, immersive, and beautiful all around. The Wilds update also brings the Deep Dark and the Warden as well, and there is a lot of super exciting things regarding the Deep Dark. Mojang is really taking their time with this one and doing things right. They're also adding the chest boat, frogs, the mangrove trees, mud, fireflies, and the Allay as well. In today's video, I'll be telling you absolutely everything you need to know about what happened at Minecraft Live. Stay tuned, we got a lot of stuff to cover. So first things first, the mob vote winner. The Allay has been chosen by the Minecraft community to be this year's mob vote winner. It will be included in the 1.19 update with the rest of the Wilds update. The Glare and the Copper Golem will not be added to Minecraft, not as they were presented. They might come in a future update if they fit the update theme, but that's something that we'll have to wait and see. We also got a confirmed release date for Caves and Cliffs Part 2, aka 1.18. Mojang said it will be releasing in 1 to 2 months, so it is pretty much on schedule, and I would expect it to be releasing right around that holiday season. Mojang loves to drop an update right around Christmas time, and I'll be talking more about 1.18 near the end of today's video. Alrighty, let's get into the meat of Minecon. 1.19 was announced as the Wild update. It's going to be releasing sometime next year. We have no specific release date, and honestly, that's a good thing. The more time they take with it, the better the update will be. The Deep Dark and the Warden will be included in this update, along with the Swamp. If you remember, a couple of years ago, there was a Biome vote at Minecon, and the mountains were chosen, I believe, and then the swamps and savannas and deserts and other things were the other options. So they are finally updating the swamps. Now, the entire theme of this update is to add more beautiful nature, ambient mobs, make the nature of the overworld more immersive and enjoyable in so many different ways. So I'll talk more about the overworld changes in just a moment, but we gotta jump into this deep darkness. It is just so exciting. So they're adding ancient cities to the deep dark biomes. Around the overworld, you'll find these ancient deep dark cities, and these things are beautiful looking. In the middle of every single ancient city, you'll find an ancient structure, which will come with something you need to explore and figure out. There's gonna be kind of like an adventure there. So there is a reason to go into the hearts of these deep dark cities and explore them. They're also going to be coming with new skulk blocks, and as you can see, there's actually wool on the floor to help dampen your footsteps. There's also candles everywhere for a bit of natural lighting, which I find to be very nice. But who lights the candles? Do the wardens light them? We don't know. The candles don't last forever. The deep dark cities are also going to come with some form of special loot. They didn't specify what, but we can imagine some form of new item will be added. Who knows what that might be, but we'll see once it gets into the development process. Now, as you can see, these ancient cities have a ton of amazingly scary and ambient sounds, and everything about these cities is designed to inspire stories and lore. Among the new skulk blocks that were shown is the Skulk Catalyst. This is kind of a cedar block that will spread more deep dark blocks around it. So whenever a mob dies next to a Skulk Catalyst, it will actually spread more deep dark in the area. And how much deep dark is spread, it depends on how much experience that mob drops. So if you kill a zombie, it's going to spread a little bit. And if you kill a blaze, which drops twice as much experience, then the deep dark would spread twice as much, I would imagine. Overall, a really cool mechanic. So this makes all of the deep dark blocks actually renewable, and it's going to be very interesting for farming them. Harvesting the deep dark blocks also gives you a little bit of experience, and you can harvest these blocks using a hoe as well. Of course, the skulk sensor is also being added to the Deep Dark and the Ancient Cities as well, and those will detect any noise that is made in the area, and then it'll broadcast that noise to the skulk shriek, which is a really hard thing to say, apparently. Now, the shrieks will scream and make bloody murder sounds whenever they detect noise in the area, and that actually plays into the Warden. But something I do want to mention is even sneaking on a skulk sensor will activate it as well, so you really got to be careful in these areas. So if you aren't careful and you cause too much noise, the shrieks will activate multiple times, and if you activate them too many times, the wardens will come and find you. These guys literally crawl out of the ground. It is scary and nightmarish and insane, and I am loving it. They mentioned that the wardens can kind of smell and sense the player, especially if you are nearby it. But even if you're being quiet, the warden might find you. So this is really like horror game level of stuff. You'll notice that there's also some really amazing ambient sounds in the backgrounds, the heartbeat noises, and all of it is just beautiful. Of course, the Warden isn't really intended to be killed as it doesn't drop anything and you're mostly meant to run away from it. It's also incredibly strong. It can two-hit kill a fully netherite kitted player. So that is everything that we know about the Deep Dark and the Warden at the moment. As you can tell from the footage, it is just absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait to explore these areas and inevitably be just completely annihilated by the Warden. So moving back to the nice and peaceful part of this update, they're going to be focusing on wilderness and biome diversity, immersion, and atmosphere. So as you can see from some of the concept art, like the birch forest, it's light and peaceful, bright and sunny. It's just a nice gray area overall. Now in this concept art, there are mushrooms on the trees. I don't know if that really means anything, but it's something that I spotted. I would imagine with this update, they're going to be making slight tweaks and changes to a lot of the different biomes. It would just make sense as part of the update. So I imagine that this one's kind of going to be a medium-sized update, maybe similar in size to the Nether update even. Now moving on to swamps, there's a lot to cover here. In the concept art, you can see the flowering lily pads, which I think are going to be really cool. Maybe we'll see those get added to Minecraft as well. The chest boat has been added, so that is a great thing. The chest boat works with any type of regular boat, like your oak and your dark oak. You can sit in the front of it and store a single chest of items in the back of it. This is going to be incredibly useful for, of course, going across oceans and lakes, but also in the aquifers and caves as well. You can use this underground when you're mining, maybe even use it in tandem with an Allay as well. Honestly, it's just a great little feature overall, and I'm stoked for it. Mangrove trees are also being added as well, and you can plant these things underwater or on land, which is a really interesting and new mechanic. These saplings are called propagules, which is a hard word to find on the internet and hard to spell as well. But these will actually grow off of the leaves of the mangrove trees and hang down, so you can get more saplings without actually cutting down the tree, which is really interesting. The mangrove trees are propped up on new root blocks, so as you can see, if they're sprouting out of the water, then they actually have these root blocks right here, which is really cool. And of course, this means that we now have mangrove wood as well. Mangrove planks and wood, stripped wood, buttons, doors, fences, trapdoors, all that stuff that you can imagine. Every single standard wood block that you would expect will have the new mangrove wood types as well. There's also a new mangrove swamp biome being added. As you can see, it looks pretty beautiful, and you can kind of like boat underneath the roots that are supporting up the trees, so it's really just going to be a nice and pleasant area to explore. Now in the mangrove swamps, you can find mud all over the ground. That is what that darker colored block is. Now, mud is actually like a really interesting block. Let me explain, okay? It's not just mud, it's got details to it. So if you click on a block of dirt with a water bottle, that'll turn the dirt into mud, and then you can put that mud above a dripstone, that'll drain all of the water out of it and actually turn it into clay. So now we have renewable clay, bricks, and all of that lovely stuff, which is just great. We've really needed that for quite a while, and that's a pretty interesting way of doing it. You can also turn this into into mud bricks as well to have a smaller and more compact looking brick. And honestly, it's just a really nice texture. I feel like this is going to play into a lot of really fun build styles. We have 2 new mob types being added to the swamps as well. First of all, frogs. These guys are bouncy and derpy and cute. They make some lovely croaking noise. It does the little chin puffing up thing, and they are just super derpy in their movement. They can like jump backwards. They love jumping on lily pads. They'll even jump on like the drip leaves as well and then fall down. Overall, they're just a cute and derpy little thing. They're also, of course, adding baby frogs, aka tadpoles, and these can be found in the water areas similar to normal fish types, and they can be collected in buckets as well, so you can have a bucket of tadpole. Now, in my opinion, these things are basically cuter than axolotls. It's the new cutest mob in Minecraft. Move over, axolotls. There's 3 different types of frog variant, so depending on where the tadpole grows up and the biome temperature, they'll either turn into a greenish frog in cold biomes, the orangish frog in the swamp biome, or a whitish frog in the tropical biomes on beaches and whatnot. And the whitish frogs are actually white, that way they kind of blend into the sand a little bit and they don't overheat. This is based on like actual real life frogs. Mojang always does their research when adding new mobs to Minecraft. Now, each frog variant will actually have a unique use to the player, and the uses are still being worked out, but these are not a useless mob. You will be able to use them for something. We just don't know what that something is yet. And the second mob being added to the swamps is, of course, the firefly. These are a lovely little ambience mob. They're basically like glowing particles, and they just make these swamps and mangrove swamps so much cooler at nighttime. They're also a pretty beautiful source of frog food as well. As you can see, the frogs will actually eat the fireflies, which is a really nice bit of world building, and it just makes the world feel so much more alive. Of course, there's also a bunch of Minecraft Dungeons announcements as well, such as a lot of new DLC, adventure points, new pets, emotes, and flares, seasonal adventures with free gameplay tracks and paid tracks as well. So the flares are kind of like animations and particles when you're killing things or using potions. They're also adding a bunch of capes to dungeons as well, lots more skins for your player, which is really interesting, and of course a tower mode, which is probably the most interesting thing about this. Overall, there's 30 floors in this kind of dungeon tower, and the floors get harder the higher up you go. You start the tower with no inventory, and then you get better gear the higher up you go. So basically, Sword Art Online. We also have a bunch of extra random details that I picked up through the show, such as 1.18. If you want to upgrade your older worlds, any older world that you might have, to 1.18, they've done a lot of work to really make sure the upgrade process is seamless. For example, in previous updates, when you would update from like 1.14 to 1.16, you might have these really harsh chunk edges all over your worlds, and they've introduced a lot of terrain blending to make those edges non-existent, basically. This is a really huge step in the right direction for upgrading worlds, and overall it's going to make a terrain generation edges not really a thing that you see anymore. Now, of course, they've also made it so that the caves will generate below Y0 in your old worlds as well, so your bedrock around Y0 is going to get replaced with Deepslate, and then all the new caves and stuff is going to be able to generate below Y0 as well. This is actually an optional feature. If you don't know anything about this, or if you want more details, check out the Bog Rock of the Week episode linked in the upper right. Bedrock Edition and Java Edition will both be getting the 1.18 update at the same time, and Mojang wants seed parity to be one of the main features of the 1.18 update when it releases. So they showed a bunch of different images of side-by-sides on Bedrock and Java Edition, and honestly, seed parity is so close. This is something I've talked about in recent videos as well. You can check those out in the iCards. Now, Mojang kind of scared us all to death a little bit when they announced that Bedrock and Java were coming to Game Pass, because, I mean, just look at this trailer right here.
Minecraft Bedrock Edition and Minecraft Java Edition. Finally, coming together for... No, that's not right. Absolutely not. That's the ticket.
Yeah, so as you can see, that's a bit scary. It kind of seemed like they were adding, you know, the two versions together, which we are not ready for that, Mojang. No, that's gotta wait a couple years. So that kind of gave everyone a heart attack when we were watching that together in our Discord server. And of course, there was also the mandatory announcements and talking about the marketplace for Bedrock Edition. They had a little trailer showing all of the recent additions and features that they've added specifically for content creators, map makers, and anyone like that. They also stressed that all of these features can be used by literally anyone. It's not just locked to marketplace creators, and they also literally put an entire tutorial for Blockbench inside of Minecon. Blockbench is something that you can use to create your own mobs and entities, and honestly it looks pretty epic. So if you are upset with the mob votes, basically add it yourself, damn it. So that is about everything that you need to know about Minecraft Live 2021. If you found any additional details or noticed anything that I didn't talk about in today's video, of course, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll add it to the pinned comment. I am so excited for the 1.19 Wilds update, and hopefully you are as well. I do want to hear your thoughts about it, hear any fan theories you might have about it, or just future feature additions that you might think would be cool to have in the 1.19 update. Anyway, that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed. If you have, then of course leave a like or possibly subscribe. It really does help out the video a ton, and I'll see you guys down in the comment section and in the next one. And then there was silence.